Namaskar. We were talking about higher virtues in the last lecture, and we talked about two of them, forgiveness and humility. The third higher virtue is Uttam Arjav, or what we call it straightforwardness. What is straightforwardness? The straightforwardness is a consistency in thoughts, words, and deeds. Means what you think, what you speak, and what you do, they are same. There is no difference between what you say and what you do, what you think and what you do. They are same. The reverse of that is that, what you say, you don't do. What you think, you don't do, That kind of thing. That is, you hide something, You say something and do something. That means you are hiding something, which is not apparent to the listener. So this is cunningness. So cunningness is that, is a thing, which people cannot rely, because you say something and doing something else. So this kind of behavior brings disgrace to you. People will not believe in you. People will not trust in you. And it's a loss of personal prestige, Your prestige will go down if you indulge in this kind of activity. Straightforwardness in dealing evokes confidence and trust in others. So if you are a straightforward person, there is no difference between what you say and what you do. The people will have confidence in you. There's no, he's the right person. And what he says is right, what he says is true. And people will trust you. The people will not trust a cunning person, because he's not trustworthy then. So consistency in thoughts, words, and deeds is a virtue. This is a virtue, And the opposite of it, this is if you are inconsistent, it's a vice. So consistency is something, which will make a reputation for you, and inconsistency will bring you disrepute, and it is a vice, it is a sin, in fact, and you attract karma if you are doing that. A simple person is likely to be honest. So simple person means, he is not cunning, he is not hiding anything, He is pure by heart, he is pure by thought. So such a person is likely to be honest, then he will be honest. Now, there is no question of dishonesty, because, he thinks the same and does the same, there is no difference between that. And therefore he is doing whatever he is saying, so there is no reason to disbelieve him. So, means, the person is honest. He is honest to himself and honest to others. There are two different things, Whether you are honest to yourself, that is very important. One must be honest to himself or herself, Means, you are not deceiving yourself. Many times people do, they think something and do something, which goes against their own interest, the true interest, So a person, a simple person will be likely to be honest to himself and honest to others, that he is not deceiving others, he is not being dishonest to others. So simplicity is a virtue. A straightforward person shall have no quarrel with others, there's no reason now, because he is speaking truth. He is not hiding anything, so there is no reason for getting into quarrel or getting into argument or getting into disputes, and he will be friendly to everybody, so he will make friends of others. A, a person who is cunning, probably will not have many friends, because the people will not believe him, will not trust him, and will not like to be with him. So straightforwardness is considered to be a noble virtue. The next one is Uttam Soch, or purity. Purity here means purity of mind. Your mind is pure and therefore your thoughts are pure. So purity of mind is a virtue. Now, how the minds become impure? Let us consider that first, and then we can argue that how your minds become pure. So a person, a common person busy in acquisition of wealth. That's a common feature of most of the people. They want to have wealth, they want to accumulate wealth, and therefore they must have a good earning by fair or unfair means. That distinction goes away when your entire motto becomes that, look, I must have wealth. Then probably you forget the distinction between fair and unfair means, and somehow you must get wealth. So this is tendency of many people. They want to acquire wealth, and in this pursuit he may engage in passionate activities and impure thoughts. Normally, an honest person is a person who is a straightforward one and who is humble will not be able to collect wealth. This is the fact of life. A simple person will not have much of wealth. Of course, he earns his salary, but salary normally now in India, are not enough to accumulate wealth. Normally, salaried people are not wealthy people. Business people are wealthy people. Those who are running industry, industrialists are wealthy people. So wealth is connected with passionate activities. He has a desire for more. He has a feeling of greed. He has a feeling of ego, pride. I must have wealth. I must be a rich person. So that he's proud of it. So this the impurity of mind is connected with these kinds of passionate activities, and therefore he will have impure thoughts. He is always thinking, he's cunning, in his mind. He's thinking this way or that way, and he's thinking of the way how can I get more wealth. So he is always thinking impure thoughts. He becomes unmindful of the harm he may cause to others. He wants his personal gain. That's all. That is his motto. He's selfish. He doesn't bother. If by doing so somebody else is harmed. He's not bothered about it. So very likely that such a person will cause harm to others in achieving his selfish ends. Because he's selfish. He wants his benefit. Life may become turmoil. In such case, if suppose this continues to happen in his life will be a turmoil. He will be always engaged in impure thoughts. So that contaminates his own personal self. And he will be in turmoil. He might lose balance of mind. Because his mind is always one-sided now. That's all, wealth and nothing else. And develops vengeance against others. All this brings misery. Ultimately, a person who is accumulating wealth is likely to be miserable in his later life, which person may not realize in the beginning. But ultimately, the fact is that such people are found to have a miserable life at the end. So ultimately the whole thing is not going to end in a happy state. So this a wise person will think right in the beginning, why should I have this kind of life? What this wealth is going to do to me, when I am accumulating. People, I have seen many people who accumulate wealth and do not know what to do it. Why they are accumulate wealth, they do not know. Purity cleanses the mind. So if you have a pure mind, or the other way around, it is a pure mind, it purifies your heart as well, and you get rid of cravings and passions, which are the reason cause of impurity, and begets contentment and equanimity. Such a person who is pure in mind, he has a pure mind, will be content, he will be satisfied with what he has, He doesn't aspire for getting more and more. And equanimity, samatha, then he maintains balance of mind, whether the situation is bad or good, it doesn't matter to him. He maintains calm and peace, and he has a satisfaction in life. Perfect faith and knowledge are essential for purity. How do we assure or ensure that our mind is pure? You must have faith in the religion. Faith in the religion means you must believe what is good and what is bad, and the good, any evil activity or path is going to get you bad experiences in life, the bad results, and the punya will bring you good results. So you must have faith in this kind of religion, this kind of belief. And knowledge. Knowledge means, you must know what is good and what is bad. That is knowledge, If you do not know what is good for you and what is bad for you, then the knowledge has no use. So knowledge is that which makes you conscious of what is good for you and what is not good for you. So perfect faith and knowledge are the means, to have a purity of mind, purity of thought and mind. Purity cannot be achieved without them. So unless you have a faith and unless you have the right knowledge, purity is difficult to attain. Purity of mind is a noble virtue. If your mind is pure, it's a noble virtue because now you are at peace. You have a happiness in life, So it's a good virtue. It's a noble virtue. Uttam Sanyam, or self-restraint. The last one, which we will consider the fifth one. What normally is done, Normally, we engage in sensual activities. What does it mean? No, we have five senses, And how do we want to use those senses? You want to see good things, You want to see good movies. You want to see good videos. You want to see a good scene, Or you want to see a good show. So you want to see everything good. You want to hear something good. You want to hear good music. And you want to hear good speech. And taste, You want to eat something which is tasty. And your taste, has no end, One after another, you go on choosing dishes, and consuming them. Taste is a very big factor in life, The people are after taste. Smell, you want to smell something good. Touch, you want to touch something which gives you pleasure. So all these sensual activities we indulge in normally. This gives, of course, temporary pleasure, That is why you are doing them. It gives a temporary pleasure. But ultimately, such habits are harmful. So all noble individuals exercise restraint on sensual pleasures. The sensual pleasures may give you temporary happiness, may give you temporary pleasure, but ultimately in the long run, they will bring you pain and misery in your life, So the noble people they are wise and they exercise restraint on their senses. And if you do that, this is good for your physical health. You will maintain good health and good mental health. Your mind will be healthy. Your mind will be always having a positive kind of thinking, and the negative thinking probably may not come to you. As well as a person like this will make a spiritual progress. So you will advance spiritually, which must be the ultimate aim of life. All of you must aspire and try for spiritual progress in our life. Self-restraint is absenting from injurious thoughts and actions. I told you that you don't indulge in sensual activities and you don't have that kinds of thoughts, because then you are always thinking, let me have some occasion or chance to see something good or taste something good, and your mind is always engaged in those kinds of activities. So self-restraint is absenting from such thoughts and actions and from indulging in sensual pleasures. The attraction for sensual pleasure is so strong that normally it is difficult for an individual to exercise self-restraint. This is a big difficulty. Normally, even if you want, you are not able to do it, because you are now habituated. You are slave of your habits. You want to eat something, so eat something. Whether it's good for your health or not, you don't bother. You want to fulfill your taste desire. And I have seen many people like this. A personal contact of mine, is now in the habit of taking mobile to his toilet. Now, is it a good habit? Certainly not. And I told him many times, look here, this is not good, you should not take mobile in the toilet. But he is habitual. He also knows that it's not good, but he is doing it. So this is the kind of thing, the habit which is formed, and person becomes slave to such habits, And then it becomes very difficult to apply restraint, So the restraint application requires a strong will and strong determination, So the power of self-restraint is derived from faith in religion, or at least in ethical conduct. So you must. There, the religion is very helpful. If you have faith in religion tells you what is good and what is bad. So follow the religion. If you have a faith in religion, and then the religion tells you that don't do this, don't do that, and you must obey that. You must believe in the religion. So a religious person is likely to apply self-restraint on him or her. So the religion helps you. Please follow some religion, whatever religion you like. You must follow that in life, And ethical conducts, So try to be ethical, try to be moral in your behavior. And how do you do it? How do you gain it? So best thing is to keep company of those people who have these noble virtues, who are moral in conduct, So keep company of good people, keep company of noble people, keep company of moral people, So this then will encourage you also to have those kinds of habits, So company is very important. What kind of company you are keeping is very important. Please see to that you have a good company, and if you have a bad company, please leave it. Today we find laxity in thoughts and actions in this society. This is unfortunate. We say that we are a free society, we are forward people. What does it mean? It means only that you engage in sensual pleasure. This is regarded as what is a forwardness, or this is regarded as advancement. This is very unfortunate, a wrong kind of thinking. So such a person will not be able to exercise self-restraint, and he might even ridicule those who are doing it. He said, look here, you are an orthodox person, you are a backward person. Be forward, be advanced, enjoy life. So enjoy life is something very different, and it will push you to a state where there is nothing but misery. Free life and not self-restraint is the motto today. Unfortunately, as I told you, such people consider themselves to be advanced person and forward persons. A person accustomed to free life is ultimately likely to drift away from the path of happiness. Ultimately, he might be that temporarily for the time being, if he is happy, if he has pleasure, ultimately, but that will lead him to a state of unhappiness and misery. And later on he might repent in his life, and look here, what I was doing is not correct, was not correct. I shouldn't have done it. But now there is no benefit, there is no use of repenting, You have spent your life uselessly. So you may repent. So be careful right in the beginning that you don't get into that kind of habits and that kind of vices. The person loses dignity of human personality and greatness of human life. Human life is very, very valuable. It's a great opportunity that we have a human life. This is a rare opportunity. It's not available to everyone. So such a precious thing, we are losing. The person loses the chance the human life has offered. The human life has offered us chance to do something good in life, to achieve something good, to make some progress spiritually. And we are not doing that, and we are whiling our time in pleasure activities. So you are losing the chance you have in the form of a human life. Our culture teaches us self-restraint. And Indian culture, by and large, will teach you self-restraint, whether it's a Jain tradition or Buddha tradition or Vedic Hindu tradition. All traditions teach that you must exercise restraint on your senses. The world is full of glamour, but a person of self-restraint does not fall prey to it. So this is the sign of a wise person. Glamour is all around. Nowadays that is increasing. Increasingly we find many attractive programs, many attractive schemes, and many attractive kinds of activities. But you must beware of the danger, of all such activities, and exercise self-restraint if you are a wise person. So he is constantly conscious of the dangers of such kind of life. A wise person will be aware of the danger of this kind of open life. So a person losing invaluable, now this is a very good sentence, please read it very seriously. A person losing invaluable gem of life for a piece of glowing glass can only be called a fool. You have such a precious life, a gem of life, a human life, and by which you can do something great, achieve something great, and you are just losing it for a piece of glass, for those sensual pleasures, This is nothing but foolishness. So try to be wise, And without self-restraint, the door of spiritual advancement and success is closed. You can't have success in life. You can't spiritually advance in life unless you apply self-restraint. Self-restraint is a must for all monks and sadhus, But I am talking of our people like us. We also should exercise restraint to the extent possible. We cannot do as much as sadhus do. We cannot exercise as much restraint as the monks are able to do. But that does not mean that we can't do it. We can also do it to some extent. And so to the extent possible, you must exercise restraint on such sensual activities. So I have discussed with you 5 higher virtues which will bring in nobility in you. If you are able to follow these virtues, imbibe these virtues in you, it will take you to nobility. It will elevate your status to a noble person. So try to aspire to be a noble person and not an unwise person. Thank you.